Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to source for all things Rocket League, with your hosts, K-Cube, Quilly, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
I forgot to unmute all the audio. Here we are. I said oof is in chat. It's time to start. Here we go. But also, so shout out oof, shout out Direct for his Google Sheet RLCS 2026 LAN scenarios. Big shout out. Very helpful for this episode. But shout out Quilly for being half dead and still being here.
I'm still alive, but I'm barely breathing.
Especially if your throat swells up. Sorry, you asked me not to do that. But hello, we're here. Hello, and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. To listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube in the top left. In the top right this time we got Red, and in the bottom we got the man Quilly himself. We got a jam-packed show today. We're finishing things off for the closing rounds for SAM, APAC, and EU in Open number 5. We'll also be previewing the top 16 for OCE, SSA, MENA, and NA. We'll touch on those 4 regions, the clinching scenarios, and what to look for. So, we'll see who can clinch their spot at the Paris Major. Are you guys ready to get started?
Let's do it.
So we'll start out in SAM. We'll kind of run through some of these regions a little bit quicker. However, the one big news coming out of SAM is that Team Secret, after 4 years in the scene, has dropped their roster. It is no longer Team Secret. The team is now competing under the name Bananas, in all caps. So maybe I should have yelled it. I don't know. But with that being said, our teams making the top 8 through the upper bracket are Team Secret, Furia, MIBR, BS Plus Competition. And then through the lower bracket, we have Big Odes, Sangres, Dream Esport, and Nova Drift. Our top 4, MIBR sweeps Big Odes, and Furia is able to gentleman sweep BS Plus Competition, winning 4-1. And in the grand finals, MIBR, made in Brazil, able to take down Furia in 6-4-2. Quilly, I know that you've been kind of a non-believer in Furia. They've kind of been on a little bit of a steady decline since we saw them for the first time at Dallas in 2022, and their results have steadily decreased since then internationally. And now I don't even know if you can say they're the top team in their region. Do you want to take a victory lap on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I'm a non-believer. I can just observe what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is an absolute collapse of a brand. The brand known as Furia, obviously, was it the 2025 season? To start the season, they were seen as possible LAN winners. They could have won a major. Maybe not Worlds just yet, but a major at least. And they've barely even sniffed winning their own region opens since then, pretty much. I will... It's kind of being a little mean. They did. I think they swept out through all 6 opens, or no, 5 of the 6 opens outside of the one that lost disconnected. But in majors and situations where it really matters, the team looked horrendous. And going into this season, even with the changes, nothing has changed in that sense. So I think Furia and fortunately I think Falcons, they're both learning. Maybe that upgrade isn't worth it. Maybe that synergy, that chemistry, that keeping things around. Maybe that's better after all to play that game. But yeah, no, Furia is they're at least making grand finals. It would have been worse if they're going the Team Secret route where they're going out in lowers. What was the team name? The Godes?
Yeah.
They've had the absolute fall from grace. Furia is, at least since they're keeping their 2 land spots, they're at least getting to stay in contention in that sense. But yeah, no, they were literally the top dog. It was the biggest gap in the world to second, and now they're possibly not even first at this point. The bull reigns supreme.
So looking at the major points, Furia and MIBR are currently tied with 30 points. So they're tied for first in their region. And looking at the full rankings for the full season, MIBR and Furia are tied at 70. So it's neck and neck. I think the winner goes to the team that has the most regional wins, and in that case, that being Furia with 3, and MIBR with 2. But nevertheless, I think both of these teams are pretty set for Paris. I think that they just need, they need a top 8. All but secures it for them, as they're currently up 14 points on BS Plus Competition, who's in 3rd, and Bananas, they're up 16 points, who's in 4th. So I think both of these teams, we'll see them in Paris, we'll see them at Worlds. They have their spot, but we may be seeing a changing of the guard in real time. It may be the year of the bull, in Sam, at least.
In Sam. Oh, yeah. Sam. The bull is here. We will see Land Bowl. One of the greatest sights ever.
So, speaking of a team back with vengeance, moving over to APAC, our teams making the top 8 through the upper bracket are Kinotrope, TSM, Godspeed, and North Star. And through the lower bracket, we have 86, Jungle Juicers, 4 Guys, and RHHS. Into the top 4, we have Kinotrope taking down Godspeed 4-1, and TSM taking down North Star 4-2. And in the grand finals, back with a vengeance, TSM sweeps Kinotrope. So before we talk about what's going on here, Kinotrope is beaten twice. Once in upper bracket quarterfinals, in which TSM win 4-1, and another time in grand finals when TSM win 4-0. So 8-1 in game differential against Kinotrope, their biggest competition for that last spot. What do you guys make of TSM, and what do you think of their chances moving forward?
I mean, TSM showed that little blip on the schedule of not winning Open 4 was absolutely just a one-time thing. I mean, they come back stronger than ever. The 4-0 will go in grand finals. I mean, leave no doubt there that TSM is here to play, and they're here to take that spot back. Now, we could say maybe it was for content. Now we know Open 6 is going to be there'll be maybe a couple hundred more people watching. Maybe. We'll see. But obviously TSM looking like they're much more in form as of late, so good for them. I am curious to see what kind of adjustments Kinotrope make, because obviously getting swept in the grand finals is not a sight you want to see. But anything goes when it comes to Open 6. We've seen the craziest Cinderella runs of all time in Open 6, so keep your eyes out for APAC. It's going to be interesting.
I got a question, just in terms of the Liquipedia. I see some TSM's grayed out. What happened? Does anyone know what happened there, or things just haven't been submitted properly?
I don't think they just updated that side.
Yeah, because they're 2-0. I see that they have 3 grade wins.
There's like 4 guys that didn't even play any games in the Swiss stage, and yeah, there's a bunch of weird stuff. It just
just making sure there wasn't any drama going on.
That's not us. That's not us.
So, TSM trails Kinotrope for that only major spot for Paris by 4 points. So if they outplace Kinotrope by 1 spot, right? If Kinotrope finished top 6 and TSM finished top 4, then they get the Paris major spot and the Boston major spot. And the world spot. Sorry, not Boston major. They already got that one. So as long as TSM outperforms Kinotrope,
go back to Boston.
They will have their spot.
Yo, guys, where's Worlds?
I don't know. We're about to have our last regional of the year, and we still don't even know where Worlds is.
Surely it gets announced this weekend, right?
Watch, they'll wait till grand finals of Paris.
They're gonna have Cody Rhodes announce it after the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. That's exactly what they're holding it out for. This is how big time Rocket League has gotten.
So the Paris major is at the end of this month.
There's no way to announce it there.
I would
hope.
That's 3 months, 3.5 months in advance.
That's a big yikes. It's like they're asking for no one to show up to Dallas.
I mean, it's still 3 months.
Allegedly Dallas.
But also, think about how much time is going to happen between the Paris major and Worlds. 3.5 months. But we also have the full 2v2 RLCS circuit, the 1v1 circuit, Esports World Cup. Sorry, took me a second there. And then anything else and LCQ.
I do have a question. Is there an update on, is EWC still happening?
I don't think there's been any updates saying it isn't.
All right.
So at the moment, we're good.
Now, right now, being an F1 fan, and there's nothing going on. I just gotta double check what's going on. You know, nothing's safe anymore.
As of right now, according to Wikipedia and according to the internet, it is still happening as of right now. On their website, it's still scheduled. Nothing has kicked off yet. It starts July 1st. No, June 20th. Teamfight Tactics starts.
Yeah. Sorry, random tangent. My brain just heard that.
No, important to know. June 1st is when Esports World Cup starts. As of now, right? Things can change, right? War in the Middle East, notwithstanding there, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless, we're at like such a short time until Worlds. I feel like we have to know this weekend. There's gonna be teams that are playing at Paris to find out if they're going to Worlds. So there's no way we're finding out at the same time where we're going. At the same time, they're figuring out if they're going.
I would hope so too. The only copium that I could think of is they're trying desperately to do a place that isn't Dickies, and so they're similar to how they did for Raleigh, right? Like it's Atlanta, and then they couldn't make it work, so they pivoted to Raleigh. I'm hoping they're like, I'm gonna make it up, right? Like, and I'll just keep it in Texas, like Houston. We got to go back to Dallas.
Yeah, they may be trying to avoid, oh, hey, it's here, and then, a couple months before, oh, our bad, it's not there anymore. It's actually, a couple 100 miles the other direction.
Yeah.
So, if that's the case, then props to them for thinking about that, but also, like, I mean, we're getting really close to not where Worlds is, and it's going to be September in most likely somewhere in the United States. And if it's where we think it is, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna be so hot.
It is every time we go to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been to Dallas. That's a lie. I've been to Dallas, in November before for work. But like, I only go to Dallas in end of August, September.
That's what, like 50s, 60s.
Oh, it's still like 70s. Right?
Yeah, it's still like 70s. Yeah, it's like still like it's November, sure, but.
It's like I only go to Dallas when it's 110.
The way I like it.
Cool.
I like my Texas the way I like my test scores, triple digits.
Oh yeah. But last but certainly not least here in terms of Open 5, and that is EU. Our teams making the top 8 through the upper bracket. We have Carmine Corps, we have Gentle Mates, we have Ninjas in Pajamas, and we have Whip Esports. And through the lower bracket, we have Kirkland brand Carmine Corp, KDOP Corp, Vitality, Man City, and Gritty Goose. In moving into our top 4, we have Ninjas in Pajamas absolutely choking away a series and losing to Carmine Corp in 7, and we have the Gentle Mates beating Man City 4-2. And in the grand finals, we have Gentle Mates from the couch to the winner's circle here, beating Carmine Corp 4-2, and they're able to take home Open number 5 after not even making Open number 4. So, what a crazy time, what a crazy event. Red, what are your thoughts first and foremost on this EU event as a whole?
I mean, it was fantastic to listen to while I was doing about 5 hours of yard work that day for Championship Sunday. But I mean, KDOP Court Team Vitality. What a absolute cinema of a series to really get the day going. I mean, you have the old guard, Alpha 54, Radosin, and quite frankly, like, they looked fantastic. Radosin, I think I don't know what it is.
If you've kicked Radosin, you hate to see him coming because he's gonna eliminate
hate to see him coming. Genuinely, like, it has got to be studied. This man's ability to get kicked from roster and then somehow end up playing that same team at some point when it matters and beating them. He's like 3 for 3 at this point. It's ridiculous.
It's no longer Radosin with job security on the line. It's Radosin in a revenge game, and that's it. That man plays. Him and Alpha looks like he's never lost a step, and it's insane. That as Red said, that series starting off the day
Banger.
was insane. Like literally, especially it started out with them going down two at the start, so it's like, all right, this is as expected. I think they got shut out too in the first two games, so it's like, all right, this is going about as expected. Vitality's in form, and they're gonna dominate, and then just somehow they rattled out 3 straight wins. And it's like suddenly like, oh my god. Things are heating up, and it only continued to be fire from there on out because they finished the job and completed eliminating Vitality from the main event, which never in a million years did anyone think. I don't even remember what the poll was, but it was a disgustingly large amount of Vitality to KDOP Corp, very disgustingly little voted.
I mean, and it's also it's crazy to me, like, you know, we haven't seen Alpha 54 in an RLCS broadcast in, it feels like years, right? And he comes out of nowhere in Open 4. The respect he still gets is unreal. They do not let this man anywhere near the ball if he's on the ceiling. And I don't blame them. It's like, these people have been hurt before.
It's like I'm making a fun little analogy here. I think, you know, Alpha 54 were dosing, they went up to the mountains, you know, they got that training on the mountains, came back, and I mean, put in the work. I will say it was interesting to see the change. There's still a little inconsistency with the roster, right? I think going into the group stage, they did not look good at all. The group stage, I was like, oh, here we're back to normal. You know, we're back to the normal EU, and then, you know, Vitality happens and bang. Now I will say, I'm guessing Carmine Corp, you know, I think they watched the tapes against Vitality, because what happened next is not rated PG. But I mean, still, I did want to find the tweet. For the first time in 678 days, Team Vitality wasn't featured in an EU Regional Championship Sunday. 678 days.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. That is insane.
But also, I will say, if without looking, who is in that last the first spot out of a EU major spot? Who's sitting in 6th place right now? You got to guess?
Oh, is it not KDOP Corp?
It is KDOP Corp.
I was like, they're right there. They're gonna need some miracles to, like.
I thought you say they're 6th. I thought they were tied for 5th.
Not they were, and then Man City beat Gritty Goose.
Yeah, they're currently they're sitting 6th with 10 points.
They're 6 points behind Man City.
So they could still make it, barring a Man City fraud class, which we have seen before. But with Seiko in his current form, I don't see it happening. That boy Seiko, we saw World's MVP Seiko. I'm just saying. I mean, oh my god,
the man needed like 4 showers. I think I posted in the Discord. I'm like, Seiko is disgusting, and then about 30 seconds later, I said, okay, maybe another one.
Another one. I mean, Jilly, that man had a highlight reel in one series. Like, you could have just looked at one series, like even the series that they lost against Mates. Genuinely, Seiko averaged like 500 points a game, something ridiculous. Like, it was insane. It's like, as soon as like Edgeby and I'm blinking in the third one. I'm blinking in the third. Who's that third for Man City?
Edgeby and Acro.
As soon as those two like start to get up to speed in that regard, like with them as a trio, they're going to be filthy. They look scary. If Seiko is playing like this, they are terrifying.
You know, as the Seiko defender of all time, I've been doing it since he wasn't even on a roster last season, just finding his way. Yeah, he's looked like a man on a mission to just prove why he should not have been the one traded, and thus proving how GK's been playing. And I had it right in that hotel room in Boston when I said they should have got rid of Appjack, and guess who was right all along? This guy.
Hey, Seiko. Hey, Quilly, who did GK lose to in lower semis?
Was it Man City?
KDOP.
And if I remember, it wasn't close either.
3-2. Game 5.
It was 3-2. Never mind. Okay.
But they got shut. GK went up 2-1. or like K-Dop won game 1, then GK came back with 2 overtime winners. They then got shut out for the rest of the series in games 4 and 5.
You know, whatever Seiko's doing, he's bringing the best out of Edgeby and Seiko and Acro. They've been pulling out some nut stuff.
He's also bringing the best out of
himself,
Seiko, too.
Yeah, Seiko is bringing the best out of Seiko. He was scoring at an unreal clip. It was insane. There's literally one of the goals. He was just coming from the ceiling for no goddamn reason. Literally no reason for him to be up there. Turns into him dunking the other team, and it literally cuts to him just laughing hysterically because even he knows he doesn't deserve that goal. He was just on an unreal heat check. There was nothing that can stop him outside of Gentlemates. But outside of that, no one was stopping them, and I'm really a fan of watching this team. And I don't really watch soccer, but if I was to, it would be Manchester City because Erling Haaland. I used to be a Joe Hart fan back in the day. Great goalkeeper. So now that I feel like it's come full circle.
That's a good ball knower pull right there.
My FIFA days back.
My man played some FIFA. I was about to say, played FIFA.
That's how I pick teams. I just play a game and like, all right, I won. I like this team now. Turns out Man City's one of the best teams of all time. And now they're in the esport, and they got my OG favorite RL player in Seiko. So it's making it a great watch, and I'm hoping that they can build on this because obviously that 4-2 loss, though, it went to 6 or 5-6, went to 6, wasn't as close as it should have, or as it felt it should have been, or was. Mates felt like they had it the whole way. So hopefully bounce back in EU or an Open 6, and maybe somehow Man City just wins the whole damn thing.
It'd be interesting to see. But I mean, I feel like we gotta get some like Carmine Corps. They're not winning at all, but it kind of feels like they might be back at least on Sundays. Gentlemate's got their number right now,
or at least being more consistent.
We started to see old Carmine Corps in the NIP series for sure. We started to see Atto getting much more bump heavy and starting to be a little more. That is one thing that's been very interesting about this roster is Atto is kind of just gone quiet these last couple of opens, like Open 4, Open 5. He really isn't doing anything. Whether that's Vatira kind of trying to be the guy too much, or if maybe he's just not in that same rhythm that he was going into Boston. But they start to look like their normal selves again against NIP. But then, I mean, Gentlemates, like, they can do no wrong currently. Genuinely, they can do no wrong. They lose the game. Oh well. They'll figure it out. We go down 2-0. It's fine. Timeout. And they're back. I mean, props to Gentlemates for getting it. I mean, they look like EU 1 seed. Hands down right now. Albeit, as long as Vitality don't play K-Dop Core or Carmine Core, Vitality look like an EU1 seed. But if they play K-Dop Core or Carmine Core,
or Mates in a grand final,
then I'm taking Mates.
So, I mean, death taxes. Gentlemates winning a grand final. They don't lose grand finals. Another weird thing: Carmine Corps playing from home. This event, not playing from the facility. Maybe a little bit of different mojo or something.
A lot of the teams and facilities were not doing hot on Sunday,
except for Mates.
Except for Mates. That was the only team and facility that was doing good. Which, mind you, that facility, like, I love that it's super like Mates themed, but I would lose my mind. That facility.
It looks like an insane asylum, kind of.
It does.
I think like
Barbie house.
It's an Eagle insane asylum.
It's giving like my job is beach, my job is Rocket League.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for them one day to show up with the
pink kitten headphones.
Also,
pink kitten headphones, yeah.
Why are they the green suits if they're pink?
You know, there's probably a reason. I don't know exactly.
If anybody is a Carmine or not Carmine, oh my god, a Gentlemates supporter or is a green suit, can you please explain this to me? I would love to know. I'm not knocking anybody because they always rock the pink, but why are they the green suits? But while you're looking that up, absolute choke job from NIP against Carmine in the semis. They go up 2-0, and in game 3 they're up 3-0 with 2 minutes left, and they lose in overtime, 4-3. 3-0, and you let them back in the game.
Yeah,
I was listening to the series. That was the only one I was able to watch. Was that comeback? And then actually, I think I looked at my phone while I was working, and I was like, "Wow, they're up 3-0. That's insane." As I keep looking back, it's just the score is just or the delete is depleting. It's like, wow, what is going on here? It was Nip. I don't know what they're. I don't know if we can believe in them or not. They're just a very confusing team.
The power of friendship only goes so far, apparently, with Oli and co, and the Great White Shark. But hey, I mean, they go up 2-0. Carmine brings it back and ties it. They go up 3-2, double match point, and they choke it away, and they score 2 goals in the process. So NIP is so close yet so far, but then, Archie was doing his interview after the semifinals, and he was like, "Yeah, I think there's more pressure in the semis than in the grand finals because we don't lose grand finals." And sure enough, another grand finals appearance, another win for Mates. So if they can make it to a final, they're gonna win. And Nas was out of his chair again, like we saw in Boston. So congratulations to Mates, and a big win for them.
Okay, so what I've been seeing about why they're called the green suits is early on in the Gentlemates organization, the logo was actually green.
And so it just stuck.
I guess it sucks. So the Gentlemates Ultras, otherwise known as the Green Suits, were founded in June 2023 as a structured fan association that grew to over 850 members by July 2025. That's the only bit of history. The history I'm finding on this is literally just from Twitter posts about talking about Nate's history. But from what I've been seeing, the only thing I've been seeing is a Reddit post that says, from what they can tell, it's because their logo was green to start early on in the organization's life. Obviously, I'm sure we could ask an actual green suit and they might be able to tell us. But
maybe I just at Gentlemates on Twitter.
They'd be like, "Hey, so why are you guys green suits but you're pink? Where's the green come from?"
But so we'll tweet that out and we'll see if they respond. That would be kind of cool. I'd love to know the answer. There's no shade whatsoever to calling themselves whatever they want, right? The blue wall makes sense. Carmine Corps is blue. I get it, right? So I would just love to know, right? Add some more lore to the background. But anything else any of you guys wanted to? The last thing that I have to mention, Quilly, you brought this up in chat. Our tinfoil hat theory about Carmine Corps. Do you care to elaborate on that?
Honestly, I have to remember it. Okay, I remember it now. So I had a random thought. Does it make sense? That's for you to decide. But as we can see, Carmine Corp has had the fall off of the century. They're not winning every region or every open like they were as of the last season and as of last split even. 1 through 3, they pretty much dominated the whole thing again. They seemed like Thanos still. Nothing changed. But when we got to Boston, they got put in the group of death, which is crazy. As the EU1 seed, they were, I think, Buchels wise, they were literally the number 1 ranked team. They should be getting favorable matchups. And they somehow ended up in the group of death. And then we saw the infamous Vatira tweet where, paraphrasing, he said, if I knew we were going to get this bracket, I wouldn't have pub stomped the entire region. Fair assessment. But suddenly, now all of a sudden they're struggling in opens. They're not winning them left, right, and center. They haven't. I think they're 0-2 on opens with Vitality and now Mates. They have not won an open yet. Who knows if they're going to be even. We'll know an open 3 if they're going to win it. But with that said, suddenly it's starting to seem like maybe. That's my conspiracy sound. Maybe Carmine Corp is throwing to get favorable matchups.
I mean, they could potentially get a ban for that.
Well, yeah, they just got to play it off well. Vatira just has to look really angry the whole time.
Yeah,
he does that well.
This is true.
What is?
Also, Gentlemates and Carmine Corps have both locked up their World Championship spots already. Carmine Corps currently trails Gentlemates for the number 1 overall seed in EU by 7 points. So I believe with a top 2 finish, Gentlemates will secure the number 1 seed. Well, actually, not like for Paris they will, but not for Worlds because maybe Carmine does something in Paris in EU this time. We'll see. But nevertheless, an interesting theory. I would love to see what happens in Open 6 to see if there's any weight to that. But with that, let's talk about Open 6. Moving over to another region that is Sub-Saharan Africa. We know our teams that are making the top 16, and from Group A, that's 5 Fears, BTF Esports, Team HSK, 7x7, Midwest Mafia, Synthesis, The Punishers, and Looking for Organization. And from Group B, we have Rounds, Pioneers, Astronic Esports, Death Cloud Esports, Le Passion, White Rabbit Gaming, Marine Region, and La Misa. And our clinching scenarios are as such. 5 Fears clinch Paris and Worlds with a top 4 finish or better, and Pioneers are eliminated with a second place or worse finish. So our most likely outcome, 5 Fears and Pioneers make grand finals, and it doesn't matter anymore because 5 Fears clinch with a top 4. So
yeah, there's nothing to make me believe that will not be the case. It's going to be 5 Fears at Paris, at Worlds, #1 social media account in RL Esports. Back at it again.
Oh yeah, we'll hopefully get to see them. Hopefully, get to see their social media team in Dallas or wherever Worlds may be in the U.S. Hopefully. Next
Every
up,
time we say Dallas, it just triggers my fight or flight.
I know, it's so bad. But next up, we got OCE here, and making the top 16 through Group A are Wildcard, Power, BGNS, Schmelf, Take Flight, GG, Game and Game, United Champion Clown, The Beast from Beyond, and from Group B we have the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, No Car Esports, Team Abyssal, Daddies, Nerve, Last Dance, Nazi, and Club Sandwich. So it's a 3-horse race for the Paris major spot and the world spot between Power, Wildcard, and the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. We talked about it the last time, but let's talk about it again. The winner goes to Paris. Straight up. That's it. If Power beats anyone, if Power wins at all, they also have the world spot. If Wildcard beats Power, Wildcard needs a top 12 in Paris, a top 16 forces a tiebreaker. If Wildcard beats anyone not named Power, Wildcard goes to Worlds. If Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs beat Power, Canterbury Bankstown needs a top 12 in Paris. If Canterbury beats anyone else, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs go to Worlds. So if Power make the grand finals, they need the other teams to perform in Paris. If Power wins, they just clinch everything outright. So a lot to watch, a lot to look for. I'm sure you're going to, everyone's going to be tuning in. That's talk about high stakes in your own region, right? And, it comes down to the final day, and, potentially we're going to have 3 teams that are eligible to go. That's awesome. That's what you love to see as a fan of RLCS.
Yeah, we talked about this in depth last week, and obviously the only thing that's happened is the Swiss stages, so nothing crazy has changed, but I will say Canterbury, a little bit shaky, 2 series to 5, obviously not what they were hoping. Maybe the pressure is getting to them. We'll see. Obviously, as we mentioned, winner takes all. So again, the pressure is at an all-time high, and again, if you're going to be awake at 3 a.m., you're going to be witnessing cinema. So if you can manage to ruin your sleep schedule or risk it, this is going to be a great watch. Or I didn't do it overnight, luckily.
Fair.
But it's going to be cinema regardless, and I'm so excited to see. Obviously, I think it's safe. I will speak for all of us. I'm assuming that we are all rooting for Power.
I gotta see Fiber again.
Boy, Fiber.
We live for Fiber. We live for Fiber content. We live for just anywhere that we go dap up Fiber with his big Cuban link on his neck.
Oh yeah.
I want to see him with 2 Cubans. I want 2 Cubans on his neck at Worlds.
Maybe that's why he fell. The last time he was wearing too much drip.
Link was too heavy.
Was he wearing the Cuban in that? Weighing him down.
He had the KCP chain.
Yeah, weighing him down, throw off his equilibrium.
Yeah, because he's used to being down under, but he was not down under anymore, so threw him
Be
off.
upside down.
Yeah,
he was right side up, couldn't handle it.
That reverse gravity,
but
couldn't take it.
Just because we haven't had enough drama and entertainment already, Mina. Our teams making the top 16 through Group A are R8 Esports, Team Stallions, DOS, everything. Oh, jeez. TSDYD Dion. I'm not pronouncing that. I have no idea. Nothing, Sleeping, and RCN. And from Group B, we have Falcons, Twisted Minds, Eternity, Rafa Esports, Alam W, Ana B, Alishi, Nightmare, Intercontinental, and RST. So, our clinching scenarios are as follows. R8 clinches a Paris Major berth with a top 4. Twisted clinches with a top 2 or better, right? And R8 with top 4 or better. Falcons are eliminated with a top 4 or worse finish. And Stallions are eliminated with a top 4 or worse finish as well. So, everything to play for here. We would have to see kind of some crazy results in Paris for Falcons to forfeit their world spot. They're currently 7 points clear of Twisted Minds and 25 points clear of R8 for that last major spot. So realistically, a good performance from R8 at Paris might make Falcons sweat a little bit, but I think for the most part, we probably will see Falcons and Twisted at Worlds, but I don't think we'll see Falcons in Paris.
I feel bad for anyone in the LCQ who's going to have to stare down the barrel of Falcons.
I still think Paris makes a major spot or makes a world spot on their points. They're 20.
Probably,
they're 25. Or
like
25.
Barring R8, like they'll play R8 probably because Falcons because of R8 taking that was it 7 points, right? How many points did they lose? So that if they didn't lose those points, it'd be a different story. We could see a day and age where we have Team Falcons in the LCQ, which just sounds like hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. I mean,
and the coughing baby's blindfolded somehow.
Yeah. I mean, it is a weird spot to be in if you're a Falcons fan for a major. This is the first time where your fate is not in your hands. For the only way for Falcons to clinch a spot for Paris is they have to win it all, and they need one or more of either R8 finishing 9th through 12th, or worse, or Twisted Minds finishing 5th through 6th or worse. I don't think either of those things are going to happen, even if they win it. So we're already looking slim.
Unless they're taking them out like in the lower bracket.
Yeah,
they need some insane bracket RNG.
A young Money Clan, and game the bracket. But here's the funny one. I always love the 0.1% chance read-offs because it's just the craziest stuff. Here's how they clinch it with a second place finish in open number 6. Twisted Minds finish 13th to 16th, and Team Stallions don't win, and Dose don't win, and Everything do not win, and Rafa Esports don't win. All of that has to happen, plus they have to finish second.
Yeah, that's like anytime you get more than 2 ands, you were like, this isn't happening.
So R8 Esports, we're gonna see them. There's a good chance, depending on how this open goes, that we could see them as the 1 seed for Mina, for Paris, which is awesome. I love it.
Also, based on some chat math from Oof, it would take an R8 and a Twisted Minds top 4 in Paris to knock Falcons off that spot.
Absolute cinema. Mina owns Paris.
Could you imagine November 2025, the Drolly signings announced, and slid under it, P.S. They'll miss a major.
That'd be insane.
What are you talking about, you fool? Are you on drugs?
So
Here we are.
I've heard, and these are all rumors. None of them are, fully substantiated. But about $30K a month for Drawley. You're telling that's what I had heard from a couple different people. To get him to make the move.
Oh
right?
That's not far. That's not far.
That's-
It's not far off my yearly salary.
That's a ton. So for argument purposes, I'm gonna say 20. Right? Just
that's double my yearly.
30K?
Like times 12. Like
Okay, yeah. But so I was. Wait.
Oof, I hope you lying, bro.
Wait a minute.
I hope you lying, bro.
Oof said he heard 40K from the manager. Okay, well let's just stay at 30. Let's stay at 30. That's $360,000.
$480,000 a year to play Rocket League. God damn!
Dude, that oil money, man. That oil money.
All that money just to not make a major. That's the point I was trying to make, right? $300,000 to miss a major. Could have just kept TRK.
Would have been free. Would have been free, but it would have been a lot cheaper.
Significantly less.
But I'm gonna tell how there's like Project Wemby, Project LeBron, I'm telling my girlfriend, a kid's being born with a controller in his hands. We're going for Project Raleigh.
Directly to Saudi. Do not pass go. Do collect, $2,000.
$40,000. Collect $40,000 a month.
Yeah, no kidding. But everything to watch for in MENA. Can R8 continue their great run of form? Will Falcons figure out what the hell they're doing and win an event and finish above top 4? We'll have to wait and see. But last but certainly not least, we have NA. We have our teams that have made the top 16 from Group A. We have Shopify Rebellion, NRG, Gen G, Next to New, Strictly Business, The Immigrants, Little Step Bros, and Chiwiwis. And from Group B, we have Virtus Pro, Space Station Gaming, Foot, Lob, True Stacy's, We Stacy Light, One, Dignitas, and No Dopamine, with notable misses of M80 and AWD again. So we'll go through the clinching scenarios, and then we'll talk about the event as a whole. Shopify and Space Station clinch with a top 8 or better, so they make it into, if they make it to Saturday, they're in. Full stop, they have their Paris major spot. Foot and NRG can clinch with a second place or better finish. Strictly Business is eliminated with a top 4 or worse. And stick with me here on this list. Gen G, Virtus Pro, One, Dignitas, and Next to New, and The Immigrants are all eliminated with a second place or worse finish. Right? So the second or worse finish also predicates whoever they're chasing from falling out early. So these are the clinching scenarios. These are not the making the major scenarios, right? So this is what these teams need to do to clinch their major spot. It can be clinched a lot sooner depending on other results. So, Quilly, what were your thoughts on the event as a whole? What did you think about the matches so far in the Double Swiss?
Yeah, I only got to tune into bits and pieces. I watched some of the SSG and Space Station. I just named the same team twice. The SSG and Shopify streams, those are the only two I was able to tune into, really, because it's just weird hours and just having them on a second monitor. I will say, as much as a fun story as Little Step Bros is, I kind of hate seeing them in the main event. I'm not going to lie. It's a little, maybe it's hater mentality from me. Alpha Cap should not be in the main event. I don't know. He's just something about watching him play the game. It hurts my eyeballs. It hurts my eyeballs watching him play competitively.
I don't understand why they have a -5 Buchholz rating, but Chiwiwis has a -7.
Chiwiwis went to 5 more, but they also beat M80 has a good pull. M80 has a higher boot. Fellows and M80 have a higher Buchholz. Wait, everyone has a higher Buchholz.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wait, it says Shopify and Energy also have a -1 Buchholz.
Yeah, no, but that's based on the teams that they beat, right? So Shopify beat only one team that made the top 8. NRG did the same. They only beat one team in the top 8. So, I mean, in Little Step Bros beat no one in the top 8.
That's probably why.
Same with
Same with them with Chewies.
yeah.
That's
I was
probably
just
what
I was just
led
looking
to-
at that though because they
Yeah.
oh
Uh,
they Chewies has a -7 Bupo's rating. That's on me.
yeah, strictly
That's
business,
so-
giving energy to
that's
work.
so
You always love to
bad.
see that. But yeah, outside of that,
Are we looking at the result there? I mean, energy still
Well-
won against strictly business.
we're looking at this series right here. Yeah, they went to 5 of them.
I mean, they went to 5, but energy still won.
I said they gave them the work. I didn't say they won.
That,
For
okay,
strictly business
Giving-
matters.
Giving the work, I feel like means you won. No.
For strictly business, going to 5 with NRG is a win in their book. All right, taking them that far is a win.
Fair enough.
Just showing life. But yeah, outside of that, everything pretty much went as expected. Dignitas, they have been falling off a little bit. All of their wins coming from teams that didn't make the bracket and only losing to teams that did make the main event. I don't know if the Bora honeymoon phase or everyone's like, oh my god, who is this guy? I guess that wore off a little bit. He's not as scary. I don't think he ever was scary to people. He was just more fun for the people because obviously he was dominating off rip. But yeah, I think everything's going as expected. Hopefully, for the sake of Virtus Pro, they can keep this up because they've been looking a little bit rough lately. Maybe some unfair matchups for them, but yeah, outside of that, everything's going as expected. And unfortunately, my hatred towards Little Step Bros being in the main event.
I mean, going as expected, but we got to look at M80. M80, what has happened since Open 4? You go from being 3-1 in Open 4 to 1-3 Open 5, and then you're losing in round 5 to Chewies? Mind you,
They don't even have a team.
Chewies is Stealth, Hoyo, and Seek. I have heard of one person on that team, and that's Stealth. And even then, like, M80, what is happening? I want to go back and watch the series again to see what's going on. I had them pulled up for a bit, looked away, it came back, and I saw Mech, just like with his face cam because he was the one live streaming their run, and he looked upset. He was ranting. I don't know exactly what was said, but there is something wrong with this roster, and I imagine going into LCQ, which we'll talk about here in a bit, they will be making some changes.
Bad vibes.
Yeah.
Very bad vibes.
I don't want to dunk too much on Nolly, but obviously having the veteran presence is good for them, but it comes to a point where you got to take the training wheels off and let them fly. The bird's got to leave the nest at some point, and I think keeping Nolly on the team, as much as Nolly is a staple of the game long term, and he was not a face of the game, but he was a big part of it in NAC. Honestly, go the SSG route. Go 3 young bucks, let them rock. Let them just ball out and see what happens. I think Nolly, unfortunately, is going to have to be the one that takes the axe. But I don't know if M80 is going to be capable of buying out Bora. But I think that's a pretty good shout for an idea. But yeah, I think unfortunately Nolly might have to be the one to move in. If it's based off anything with GK, M80 should be listening to me.
Yeah,
So-
M80, not a great look. But otherwise, like, everything looks pretty normal so far. You know, but this group stage, I think I saw the tweet for the group stage. Going to be spicy. Going to be a spicy one again.
So I will say, before we talk about the other talking points that we have, I have to talk about some of the standings points. So currently, our full rankings has Foot Esports 20 points behind Virtus Pro for the last world spot. However, looking at the Paris Major rankings, Foot is currently 12 points up on Virtus Pro, and you get 5 points for just showing up to Paris. So, if Foot are able to outplace Virtus Pro in this event, and they get a 5 free points, I don't think that world spot is out of reach for them.
I think how many points do they give for making it? Because the group stage points is a little bit more confusing now that 3 teams make it out of groups technically, or is it just like a make it out of groups asterisk?
I don't know.
So if you make top 16, you get 4 points at Paris.
So that'd be 9
12
total.
Is 6. Top 8 is 8. Top 6 is 12.
Well,
Top
there's only
4
16
is
teams that are
16,
going.
and then second is 24, first is 36. So if you can make it out of groups and get it to top 8, you'll get, or the top 12 is out of groups, right? Because it's what, three
Top 12 is
events.
out
So
of groups.
Yeah,
the top
3.
12 is you get 2 extra points.
Is that enough for them?
So that'd be 6 points total.
They're 20 points down currently. So if Virtus Pro do not make it, which they're currently not slated to do, right? If let's just say Foot make it, let's say they make another top 4, right? That's 12, or that's Shopify won the last one. NRG 12 points is a grand finals. 8 points is a top 4. So let's say they make another top 4, they get 8 points, and Virtus Pro gets, they crash out top 6 for 6 points. They're 18 points behind, so they'd need a big result.
They would have to get second.
Yeah. So a second place for Foot secures them 12 points. That puts them 14 points in, and they'd have to make still.
Yeah.
So
I was like, realistically, if you're Foot, you are most likely looking at LCQ for Worlds, but there is a scenario VP crashes out in group stage, or they have a bad showing when it comes to Saturday for playoffs.
I would also like to mention Foot forfeited 17 RLCS points, and this is still a conversation that we're having. I mean, I hate to say it, but a round of applause to everybody at Foot who decided to make that roster move and decided to forfeit their points, because they look incredible.
They really do. Jenna, I think all of us here were like that. Like, why are you doing? Like, you're just accepting the fact that you're just gonna try to do LCQ at Worlds, and best of luck. But now we understand they were in fact cooking. That there was cook.
I also they went top
Somebody
4.
cooked here, and it was Foot.
They went top 4 in Open 4. They went top 2 in Open 5. What if they win?
I mean, that's best case scenario. Like, you close that gap, barring VP making it to finals.
Let's just say VP makes a top 8, right? And they get 8 points. But you win and get 18, and you close the gap to 10 points.
And then you get 4 for showing up at Paris. So that's 14-point gap cut down. So now you're only 6 points away. You would just need to make it top 6.
I don't think that's unrealistic, depending on the bracket.
Depending on the bracket and the group, it's possible. It's definitely more doable than what the most likely scenario is. But realistically, it will probably be a Foot LCQ, which, again, I think this is a similar situation. I would hate to be the team to face Foot in the LCQ, because that's going to be a top. I genuinely, compared to last World's LCQ, this LCQ this year is going to be insane. There are going to be some very good teams in the LCQ this year.
Yes, there are.
And we don't even. We're like not even completely sure like what the 4 regions are they're going to be getting. It still, because Sam hasn't even made it out of the bracket yet. And based off the teams they have, it doesn't look like they're making it out of group stages at any time. So the top 4 weighted averages. Honestly, if Power was like 1 game away, they could have very easily, if they got that 1 more game and made it out of groups, OCE might have been able to get an LCQ second seed, and we would have been able to see wildcard.
Whoa. So right now, for LCQ qualifier spots, here are your 4 regions.
NA, EU, MENA.
EU is 1.
Yep.
MENA's 2.
Yep.
NA 3.
Yep.
Oceania in the 4 currently.
Yep.
So we could see oh god, what are they called? The Bulldogs. We could see
Canterbury
the Bulldogs.
Pegstown Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs.
Or Wildcard, or
Wildcard, or Power, because they're all like right next to each other. It'd be one of those 3. But that's assuming that Oceania does decent at Paris. Assuming.
Especially with 3 teams making out, and Sam having 2 teams, the odds of one of them making top 3 in their group should be pretty high comparatively. So Power's really going to have a weight on their shoulders to try and outplay.
Yeah, it's like, now if you are a Sam team, I mean, MIBR, Furia, you gotta pull some weight, and even then, realistically, like,
or they don't. Maybe they don't care.
They don't. I mean, they don't care because I mean, your third seed of Sam is Team Secret, aka no longer Team Secret. Banana. And I'll be honest, I've been watching them.
BS Plus competition is 1 point back of that
This is
third
true.
spot.
They are right there. So this last open
And
can mean
hey,
a lot.
Also, I have to retract a little bit. Maybe KV1 was cooking going to BS Plus. Just saying, he's still got a salary.
He knew something that we didn't.
He's still got a salary. Sorry, banana. But so realistically, what are you guys expecting from open number 6? Who do you have winning it? And let's just start there. Who do you think's going to win open 6 for NA?
Okay.
Little step rose. Full circle, baby.
Inner circle? No.
Realistically, with current form, looking at what happened in the Swiss stage, thinking back to Open 5, Open 4, if it's SSG in the grands and they're not facing Shop, I got SSG. But if Shop's in the grands, I got them. As long as it's not energy. It's like it's so neck and neck on like who makes grands anymore for NA right now, which I love. It's great for competition, great for viewership. It's no longer a one-team region at energy, just walking through everybody, and then Shopify occasionally taking one split because first killer is first killer. But
I'm saying energy beats Foot in grands.
I could see that. Although, I mean, do we think? I guess it is a Sathy buff. He's got the VODs from the last time they lost the Foot.
I just think Shop are gonna get bracketed by energy.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Like they're gonna run into each other in semis.
They'll either run into that. It'll be like they get put against each other, like the winner's upside.
Yep.
Shop loses like 4-1, and then Shop just doesn't recover mentally and loses to like SSG in like winter semis or something.
Yep.
I can see that happening. It will be. It is. This group stage is going to be monumental for how Paris Major is going to stack up. Genuinely, because this group stage is going to make or break a lot of things, in my opinion.
I contend that if Virtus Pro don't go upper brackets, that they're going top 8. Like they're not winning that first round.
It depends on who they get put with. Like, say VP get the nice alley-oop lob of playing someone like one, or like I immigrants, or like
little step bros.
I could put like Strictly Business there because I think VP are able to beat Strictly Business consistently from what I've seen. It'll be very interesting, but I gotta go to NRG because it's just energy. It's the open before the major. You're starting to power up going into Paris. I feel like Sathy's been putting these boys through the ringer, especially after last open where teams are starting to figure out how to play y'all. And I'm hoping you can call me coping. But I'm hoping that Sathy has put these boys through the VOD reviews.
He said, "No more rust. Grind the game. Win things."
Yeah, no. Could you imagine we go to an entire split without seeing an NRG regional win?
Well, they're just saving it so they can win in France.
They're saving it for Paris. Yeah, they're saving it for Paris. Because I mean, hey, they won Worlds in Paris.
We already know the script. NRG wins in Paris just so Monkey Moon and Twisted can win in Dallas.
In Dallas, yeah.
Twisted winning a Worlds would be
before Falcons. Falcons, dude.
Realistically, what do you believe in more? Right? What is harder to believe? That a MENA team wins a grand final, or that Monkey Moon wins in Dallas again? I swear to God, what's what is more what would be more surprising to you? MENA winning a world championship or Monkey Moon winning in Dallas again?
MENA, because Monkey
Moon do that 3 times.
Dude,
it's
the
Monkey Moon in Dallas.
The monkey paw is curling.
It's not a one-time thing now. It's 2. He's done it twice. Like, surely it's not a coincidence anymore.
Like, at this point, it's like, well, we've known the script since they said since it was rumored to be Dallas again. Like, that's just like the way that it goes. but I'm gonna get upset if we keep talking about this. If we keep talking about Dallas, I'm gonna
Well, if it's any consolation,
asterisk. We don't know it's Dallas. We're just assuming because we're doomers. All right.
we know just as much as the public, which is nothing yet, because they literally announced nothing.
the fight or flight. The flight's about to win. I'm about to be out the house.
The flight is winning. There is no fight. It is flight all day. Unfortunately, it will be the flight in an airplane to Dickey's Arena, where I'm going to begrudgingly watch
For the
World
third
Championship Rocket League for the third time.
All right.
Although
Well, get back
to be fair, I know that arena like the back of my hand now.
This is true.
Yeah, we're gonna be aficionados of it.
But okay, is there anything else?
I didn't make my prediction yet. I didn't make my prediction
Yep,
for
you're
Open
right.
6.
You're right.
I've been saving it.
Don't do it.
I actually didn't even pick one while I was thinking. I genuinely cannot pick. The NA is at like such a point where literally I feel like any of these teams could win it. Any of the big five.
Five?
The big five being what? Shop, SSG, NRG,
Who's the fifth?
Foot, VP.
VP
Really?
or Miracle Gen G run. So yeah, that team might be even 6. You know what? Give me next to you out of nowhere. Give me next to new. Give me next to new. Lock it down.
That's awesome.
On a real note, what are you picking? You gotta pick one.
All right, give me next to new. Give me the Miracle Run, dude.
The Gen GK.
They pull out some crazy competitive games.
I mean, yes, but they like do it once and then they lose.
Fine, give me Shopify.
I was about to say, is he gonna go with his new sweetheart or the old guard? Or is it gonna be
CJ? Is that you?
I understand it is still so weird looking at like teams that have clinched worlds and seeing energy above Shopify in points, but not having worlds clinched. That is still just so weird to look at for me. My analytical brain is like, what?
Realistically, they don't have to do a lot to make it, but
no, like they just gotta show up.
Yeah,
realistically.
But is there anything else that you guys want to add about Open number 6 before we get a Pokemon update and a Quilly question?
Mm-hmm. I got nothing. Can't wait for NA Rocket League.
Oh my god, 2 days or 3 days. Sorry.
Please announce where Worlds is. Just announce it, for the love of God.
Please don't be Dallas. Okay. Red, you got anything else?
All good here.
Okay. Quilly, we got a Pokemon update? Or not?
I do have a bad Pokemon update. A part of me being sick. It started on Friday, so I only had like 2 days if I did play the game. So since then, I did not play the game. So there's no update. We have not made any progress.
This is
the update is there's no update.
The only Pokemon game I've been playing is Pokopia, unfortunately.
Hey, that's fair. Fair. Understandable.
That is, but I will get back to it. But I got 2 more gyms in the Final Four or Elite Four. Is that what they're called? Then we move. So hopefully there'll be more good news in the short future. But with that Quilly question, switch to topic. Mario Kart. Who's your go-to character?
Bowser.
I can't do big characters. I feel like I feel like the hitbox is bigger.
That's why I do big characters. Mario Kart Wii, I feel like if you hit somebody with Bowser, that boy is going flying. They are getting knocked so far off the track, and I use that to my advantage. Or placebo, I guess. But
I am
Bowser on the default bicycle.
I picked the cars for the same reason. I picked the car that looks the fastest. I don't care about the stats.
Shy Guy.
You look like a Shy Guy.
But like I switched the color.
Which Shy Guy color?
Generally,
the green one.
I go the.
I called it. Sniped it.
No, that's fair.
The green one is a cool one. I do like the red one.
So although, who's your character, Billy?
I used to be a Toad guy, but since getting Mario Kart World, I've just become a Mario guy. I've just been rocking Mario. OG.
Mario. Good old OG.
I did used to be a Toad guy back in the day.
Makes sense.
And then Keegan-Michael Key became, what is his name? Or Michael Keegan? He became Toad, and now I'm upset that the Toad in the game doesn't just speak like him all the time.
That's funny. But
although, I was gonna say, if Mario was Chris Pratt, I would be very upset. If I was looking at Mario Kart,
true.
Chris Pratt's talking to me.
True. What a time to be alive. Is there anything else that you guys want to add about anything Rocket League, about any of the opens, anything we've talked about before we wrap up for today? Awesome.
All good.
Well, that's a wrap for today. Huge shout out to Alyssa B and all of our other Patreon supporters for keeping the lights on. For those watching live on Twitch or listening later, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, share the show, tell a friend, help us level up. Want to join the community, jump into our Discord, follow us on social medias. If you want to rep the show, grab some gear from our merch store. All of these links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. Thanks for listening, and as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. See ya!
Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website, boostoverball.com.